There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, but they are forever intertwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to speak to the dead. We all have our own belief systems. We all have our own truths. So let us possibly bend those truths a bit with some insights and perspectives that may be a bit different than yours, or even give yourself validation for what you see as true. Come sit with myself and the best of the best in research, teaching, discovery, and practitioners of the day. My name is Bear Medicine Walker, and I welcome you to Spiritually Paranormal.
She's there.
I mean,
She made it. She made it.
Traffic is terrible.
Well, it's the 4th of July weekend coming up. So a lot of, actually, and this goes back to when I was in my 20s, like 40 years ago. I managed at the hotels, right? I worked for the O'Hara casinos for a number of years in personnel and training operations and stuff. This was always the biggest week for vacationers and rentals to come into the hotels and travel and all that. So this is like the biggest week of the summer, like from now through July. That's what kicks it off. And then it kind of cuts back a little bit in August. But so before we get started, why don't you recap what you've been up to this week, and then I'll recap what I've been up to.
Say that one more time.
I said, why don't we start by you saying what you did this past week, and then I'll follow up with what has been going on with me this week, and then we'll get into crystals.
All right. What did I do this week? This particular week, I haven't done anything. Now, the weeks previous, I take that back. I think I did publish one book this week. But that was it was about the brave little seed, a little oak seed that, he was so worried that he wasn't going to be strong enough to grow big and tall like all the other oak trees. But, lo and behold, he did. Story. But previous to that, last week, I don't know how many I published, at least 3, I think. But one of them is Crystal Treasures. So it's a children's book to help them learn about the properties crystals hold. Now, I can't remember how many I have in there, but it's a good bit. It's A to Z. The crystals from A to Z.
That's a good way to get kids started for sure.
Oh, yeah. And all of them rhyme, and it's easy interpretations of the crystal's properties so that kids can get it. Kids can understand.
Or adults who have...
Hey, it helped me. As I was doing it, I was like, oh, well, that's smart. That's a good way to remember that. But don't ask me what it was because I've done too much in between.
Oh, well, see, while you were doing all that, we had horrific storms up here in Michigan. I had posted on my social media the clouds were actually blacker than my shirt. And in a couple of them, you could actually see the tornadoes starting to funnel.
That. That's crazy. I've got to clean my glasses.
Okay. It didn't hit me here this time, but 2 years ago I did. It ran right in front of the house and along the side of the house. And I was in the bathroom in the tub with the cats and the birds, and it shook. You could feel the vibration. So I went outside and took those pictures, and I thought, please, God, do not let it come through here again.
Right.
I don't want to push my luck. Well, it did hit south of us, and it upturned trees and did quite a bit. I actually had the internet guy here. He was doing some work on my system, and I told him, you're not going anywhere. Stay here and do what you're doing, because it was just downpouring. And I said, I'll be in the front room. And if you hear me yell train, you move your butt to the bathroom. He goes, train. Right. I go, yeah, you'll know if you hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh. It brings back memories from living in Illinois. And every week, sometimes twice a week, we'd be in the basement.
Yeah.
With our flashlight, radio, and supplies.
Oh, yeah. I've been through 4 in my life now. Twice down in Detroit. I was working at Children's Hospital, and we were I was on the 4th floor in ICU. We had to pull all the patients out of their rooms, and we saw the tornado come through, and it wiped Hamtramck out, which was only 10 minutes from where we were. So that was interesting. And then in 91, my mom and dad's house got taken out by a tornado, like just leveled, and then it blew up because it hit the gas line. Then we had the one up here when I had first permanently moved up here. And my father-in-law says, you don't ever go down that road when it's storming. And I remember him telling me this. And I says, why? He goes, that's Tornado Alley. That's how I got to my house. Okay, it was down that road. Sure enough, man, just went right down them farms and upchucked everything in the fields, and it was bad. And then 2 years ago, I had one here. I said, I'm done. I don't want it.
Yeah, tornadoes. They're nothing to mess with.
Mm-mm. Well, let's see who's here today. Cindy. JB is here. Hi, JB. Gareth is here. Gareth Stokes.
Audrey, Margaret.
Charlene. Sharon Ellis. I'm just going to go right down the list. Oh, here you go. Audrey said she'd love that book. Yeah, it's not hot here. We actually got down. It was 40. My furnace kicked on last night.
100 today and 101 here tomorrow.
No, right now I'm sitting at 65.
Just keep bragging. Brag away, whatever.
Hey, my furnace kicked on last night.
You open the door and it's like opening the door to hell.
Yeah, well, not up here. It's like under hell, when hell before it froze over.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about crystals today. So
should I read one of the crystal little things so you get a feel of what the little children's book is like? Pick a letter. Pick a letter of the alphabet.
B.
P. Oh, let me go all the way to P. All right, P. Oops, I went too far. P is for pyrite. P is for pyrite, a sparkling golden ore. It's known as fool's gold, but there's so much more. Pyrite brings abundance and prosperity your way, guiding you toward success each new day. Oh,
that's kind of cool.
Isn't that cute?
I think that's probably one of the only crystals I do not have.
Pyrite. I've got one, or at least one. I know. I think I have 2 or 3 pieces somewhere.
Well, and we're not gonna just talk about crystals. It's the gems and the stones as well, because they all do things. They all have special properties. And this one is one of my favorites. And if the wolf was still here, I would not own it anymore, because I made jewelry for her when she was alive out of this, and she just loved it. I mean, it would disappear. Matter of fact, I got this after she passed. So, but I know she's up there screaming, why didn't you get it before? But this is absolutely, it's a druzy, a titanium druzy.
Ooh.
And it is a sphere, and you can just see inside of it, and it's got so much energy. And this one stays in my bowl. You'll appreciate this. My raven bowl, right?
Yep.
These are mine. These are Mama Bear's. Nobody gets to take anything out of that. I have a big, huge wooden carved vessel. I'll call it a vessel because it's from a sequoia tree up in New York, and it's over 200 years old. Somebody gifted this to me. It was like handed down in her family, and she didn't have anybody to give it to, like daughters. So she gave it to me, and I love it. But that's what I have, all my stones and crystals. And I think actually Ruthie, well, where is Ruth anyway?
Yeah, where is Ruth?
I don't know. Well, when we were, when she came up, I believe she knows what I'm talking about. I fill it with all kinds of crystals and gems, and I let people take 7. Doesn't matter which ones, they just take 7, for one for each direction. So crystals have been part of my life for a very long time. And you know, it's funny because you don't even really think about it till you really get into them. And then when you get into them, it's really bad because when you see them, and I go to Carrie Greenaway, she's on Facebook, and she is the crystal stone gem guru. And she's where I got all my green amethyst from. And I mean, my dragon and all this other beautiful stuff. And like, I go there, I'm broke. I'm broke for 2 months.
Yep.
You know? And
Yep.
she sends them over to me, and it's like, I told her I can't watch anymore. If I watch, I'm going to be in trouble.
Ruth's on the phone right now. She'll be with us in a minute.
Oh, okay. Lata.
Yeah.
So, what crystal? Let's talk about crystal grids.
Yep.
Do you do grids?
I haven't done them in a while because I have grandsons living with me, and they're also crystal thieves. They will gather up crystals because, you know, I have them all over my house, in every single room, in the bathroom, in the closets, and in the rooms, in the kitchen, and they're everywhere. And so they will hoard my crystals. I took them crystal digging for the first time last year. Oh my gosh. They loved it. We went twice. We went to one it had multiple minerals, but it's supposed to be an amethyst mine. Sucked. Don't go there. It was like a mine that had been mined out. All you got was pieces, shards, just junk. And you know, when you drive somewhere 7 hours and spend an entire day, 8 hours or so, digging in that dirt in the sun, you want to find something. I was so disappointed, so upset by that. But what do you do? The boys had fun digging in the dirt.
I'm too old. I'm too old for that. And even when I was younger, my physicalities, there's no way my knees would have allowed it or my back to go digging. But I used to go to because I had the studio, right? I used to go to all the gem shows, the gem and stone and crystal shows all across the US. And man, that was another place. And I would have put cash in my pocket. I left the credit cards at home.
That's what you have to do. Otherwise you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's crazy. I went up to New York one time with Ann Rose, who I absolutely adore, and she kind of disappeared in 2015, and we all miss her. And we went up, and she took me up to this place in New York. I don't know if you've ever heard about this place, but it's like it's the biggest crystal store I've ever seen. So all they had was crystals. I went in there, the vibrations in there were so big, and they had a amethyst crystal bed in the middle of the shop. And you go near it, and they said, well, you feel free, go ahead. I'm like, I get you that thing. That thing was vibrating so much. It's like, whoa, that's a lot. So yeah, that's how I went around getting my crystals and finding out about them and things. Now grids, you're not doing grids. So
not right now, I'm not, because first of all, they would be destroyed in seconds. As soon as the boys saw it, they would be destroyed. Well, Grandma, what's this? Grandma, what's that? Grandma, why is that there?
Well, you look at grids for me. Okay, I actually used to do them, and I didn't really know that that's what they were referred to as, were grids. And actually, I just took everything down in this room and in the front room last night, and they soaked overnight to cleanse them over, and now I'm putting them up everywhere to recharge again. But what it is when you set them in, if you listen to them, and I know this may sound crazy to some of you, it may just sound bananas, but if you listen to the crystals or stones or whatever you're working with, they'll tell you where they want to be placed. Yep. So there's no specific grid. You work with, I usually call in the divine energies, and I kind of sit with it, and then I start putting them out, and I have a bunch, so like you, but I don't put them all out in the grid. I only
No,
grab
because
ones
they will
that,
tell you where they want to be placed, and some crystals don't want to be next to other crystals, and so on and so forth. Yeah. You got to really listen and allow yourself to feel the energy of every crystal that you put in that grid.
absolutely.
And don't question yourself either. Don't question it. If that's your instinct and that's your feeling, then put it there. Or if you need to take it away or take it out, do that.
I had a bloodstone skull, carved skull. It was probably as big as Henry. So this is Henry. He's just clear quartz. It was about this big. I've got the bigger ones, which I've shown before. And they all tell me their names. And like my little carnelian one, she's littler than Henry, but this is Amelia. I don't know why. That's what she refers herself to. It's Henry and Amelia. So
well, remember that past life where I didn't go into the light. I jumped into a crystal for a good long while.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that could be.
I was not ready to go back to the other side. So as I was wilting like a flower going up toward the light, I jumped over into a crystal, and I feel like I was in that crystal for a very long time.
I never thought of that. That could be why.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got the bloodstone one right, and it was a little bit bigger than Henry, and his name was Harry. So I got Harry, and Harry was very angry. He didn't tell me his name for like 3 weeks. He was very angry, a lot of nasty energy. I soaked him. I put him in the moonlight. I put him in this. He was not happy. So one day I put him like right in the middle of a grid, and I created this grid as I was being told to lay it out. What it did was it channeled his energy. And I know you guys probably think I'm batshit, but it channeled that stone's energy so that I could hear it clearer. So what did it tell me? He wanted his 3 sisters with him. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like thinking, all right. So I got hold of Carrie, because that's where I got him from. And I said, okay, show me where you had him setting. I says, because he told me, and she was laughing her butt off. I said, he told me he wants his sisters with him. And she says, okay. And I said, but he called them pointer sisters, right? Like, and I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Spirit loves to play with you. Oh no, he was sitting with these 3 crystals, and he was in front of him in the middle. So guess who had to get his sisters? But he was done with me a month ago, and I actually had to send him to a client.
Oh, wow.
And he's got him, and he said, I cannot believe the energy off of this that you sent me. And I said, yeah, I know. He wanted to go to you. So is what it is.
Yeah.
The grids, when you set grids out, I usually cleanse too before I do. I don't know if you ever did when you laid them out. Did you? Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
cleanse them before.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, and then you set them out. And what it does is it kind of gives you the energy you'll need for either that day or that week, whatever it is that you've got going on. It helps you to manifest things too. And that's always kind of a cool thing if you stop to think about it, because it can even be rocks from outside. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They lay grids. I've also, and this was funny because I was watching Skinwalker Ranch last night, which I absolutely love. But they have up on the mesa, and this place is in the Utah basin, right? And up on the mesa, where they see all these ETs or whatever they're seeing flying around from the Native Americans, and it goes back, they said 1,000, 1,500 years back, they laid a labyrinth grid that can only be seen from above. So like when you go to this place, you see all these stones kind of standing and sitting up, and they've all got petroglyphs on them, right? So it coils. Okay. So and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wow, I never really thought about that. Like Easter Island, right? That's a grid.
Yeah.
There's another one, isn't it, over in England somewhere? They found another one, and it's another like Stonehenge, where these big, huge stones, but they're laid out in a grid.
Well, there's multiple ones all through England. Before I had gone there several years back, I did a lot of research and looking for all the different stone circle-y kind of places.
Right.
And I feel like it's it's either the Lake District or the Peak District. I forget which district it is, but there's like several in one area that, I want to go. Next time we go, we're going there.
Serpent's Mound in Ohio. Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
I was invited this year again, and I'm not going to be able to get there, but it's also the way the stones are laid out and under the ground, but they're raised. So there's all these kinds of grids, but it goes back so far. And the interesting thing last night for me was the natives Indian people do not want to go to Skinwalker. They're afraid of it. They don't like it.
They know better. They have a little bit of common sense.
Right. Well, and there was big controversy between the Utes and oh, good Lord, I can't remember now. But they were fighting, and that's where I think it was the Utes that brought up the Skinwalkers to assault the other tribe. So they don't like talking about it either, because there's a lot, even today, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. So there's been radio frequencies that they raise up when certain events that they do on certain spots, and it's all by these grids, like how things are laid out. So a group of drummers, they were the Bear Brothers. That was really funny last night. The Star Bear Brothers. They came in, and I want to say there were 6 of them plus an elder. The elder is the one that contacted them. They brought their big, huge drum in. They're a drum group, and they did ceremony drumming, right? But they put them right next to where the petroglyphs were, and they put like infrared so you could see the difference to see if things change. Whatever. I'll be darned, the thing that didn't glow, like when they started singing and really ramping up, the labyrinth of the stones, the grid lit up.
Wow.
So you got to look at that as, I think people were smarter than we today give a lot of them credit back long time ago. And they captured something, because why would these grids still exist everywhere?
Right.
Excuse me.
Well, I believe, I don't want to say that a lot of technology has been lost. I believe a lot of technology has been hidden from us.
Yeah, I would.
It's not lost. It's not lost. There are people that know about it, but it's been hidden.
Well, look through civilizations like early, right? You can look at like the Egyptians or the Kush. They all used gems and stones, rubies, garnet, all the stuff that we have now. They used it in a really big way. And they even kind of embellished sculptures with them. Or when the kings or the pharaohs or the queens died, they put them in the tombs with them. But they'd lay them out in certain ways. And I'm just like, even in the petroglyphs that you see, whether it's in North America, whether it's in South America, whether it's in Egypt or the Middle East, you see these depictions of them utilizing grids and stones and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, somewhere along the line, it had to work or do something for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would they still?
Who says it's not still working?
Yeah. Well, that was proof watching that last night when I watched.
Right. Because you don't necessarily know what it was intended for. So how do you know that it's not still working? And I don't see why it wouldn't work anymore. Like, what would make it not stop working if it worked once?
Well, I also have a theory watching the stuff that I do, archaeological things and documentaries and stuff. And I'm firmly believing, and I think we talked about this when we were talking about skinwalkers and Sasquatch, was portals or vortexes. And they know they're in Sedona, right? I mean, there's people that have gone, I mean, you can go and you're affected in Sedona.
Right.
And I always laugh, and I don't know what I did with them. I had them, and then, you know, things got moved or whatever. But I got like, I had about 12 of them, I think. They were small, and they were perfectly round, and they were from the vortexes in Sedona.
Ooh.
The vortexes were creating them out of the red rock. And they call them today, they call them shaman stones. And you can feel them when they vibrate. They're not clear. They're stone. They're red rock. And so if they're still coming out and it's still being created by the earth in a perfect circle, they look like musket balls, right? From the old days. Yeah. And you got to think they've got to be working with some purpose, right?
Yeah. I believe I have a couple of them somewhere in all my crystals up in the attic.
Yeah, I don't know where mine are. I move stuff around so much. For all I know, somebody might have sniped them. Gee, I wonder who that would have been. Holy crow. So do you guys, you guys are watching, what kind of stones and crystals do you use for yourself that maybe actually do something for you? Because, Holly and I have both talked about how sometimes, they'll have a meaning, right? Like I've got citrine. I've always carried citrine. This is really old. I had this when I was 18. And citrine will not hold negative energy. It's like a proven fact, a scientific fact. So it repels it. But that doesn't mean it's going to feel good to everybody. Or work in the same way, right?
Get really turned off with particular stones. Like they don't want to be anywhere near it. That just means that stone is not for you right now. Oh, I just dropped a piece.
Well, what about
that one? This is one that I dug up in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a little bit dirty.
It's just raw. That's okay.
Yep. Selenite. This is one of my favorites. I have these selenite all through my house. This was gifted to me a few years ago.
Ooh, titanium druzy.
Ooh. I've got this amethyst part here. I've got a selenite tower.
Oh, that's cool. That almost looks like moonstone.
I've got this big piece of amethyst. Hold on. Look. Watch me knock things over. I bought this one years and years and years ago at one of those gems, rock and mineral shows. And if you look at it in just the right way, this little bit right here looks like a bird.
I was going to say, is that a dragon or an angel? It's got wings.
Yeah, it looks like a bird to me, and that's why I bought it. It called to me. And from Arkansas, on one of the crystal digging excursions. I've been there so many times. Every time you go, you're bringing back a 5-gallon bucket full of crystals. They're not all going to be perfect crystals. You'll get a lot like this, a lot of little points, a lot of medium points, all the way up to this and bigger. And I have some huge clusters as well. And I have another one too somewhere in one of my drawers.
What's really interesting, and we mentioned this at one of the other shows that we were talking, somebody brought it up, but like if you've got a piece of carnelian, I'm using carnelian because that's like what's always by me all the time. Just because you have 2 pieces of them or 3 pieces of them, like I've got the skull, I've got the sphere, it actually empowers me, and it feels good when I have it. So it works as like protection it works with me for whatever I need. That's like one of my stones, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is classified as, but that's what it works for me. And that's what people have to understand. And they don't always like each other. Mm-hmm. Like these two do not want to be anywhere near each other, and they will vibrate. this one always has to be in my left hand. This one always has to be in my right hand. If I put them in the opposite hands, they feel weird.
Yeah.
They feel weird. It's almost like if you write with your right hand and your left, or you're left-handed and you're right, and you go to write with your, it doesn't feel right. And these two girls do not like to be by each other. They have to be complete opposite ends. And that's what people have to understand, you know, and I'm sure you've gotten this too. People.
Oh, I've got a story. Stacy, the youngest twin, she had two crystals that she carried around in her bag all the time, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We were at a restaurant and we were standing up. I think we were getting ready to leave, or we had just got there, and her purse was sitting there on the bench. And suddenly you heard this big loud crack. And we looked over like there's nobody there. Like, what happened? She opened her bag and one of the crystals exploded.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, they're like, I was almost going to say it, and I'm not going to say it, but they're like the people. So yeah, they're like people. They don't always
Do I need to do another video when I get home?
Hmm?
Do I need to do another video when I get home?
No. Well, I told you what happened yesterday. Okay, guys. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened. Was it yesterday that I called you and told you about that?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay, so I got up, and I always smudge, right? I smudge the house a couple times a week, and I always smudge it before I do readings, live streaming. And if I have clients, I always do before I work with a client. So I was telling Holly, I got up yesterday and I had a really crazy night. My two, whatever you want to call them, wound up coming back to my house. And they're not bad. They're just creepy looking. And I don't want to see them. I don't want to know what they're doing. Whether they're Hopi Kachinas or whether they're the divine energy of the archangels, I don't care. I don't want to see them. They look creepy. Okay. Right. And they were surprised, and we've talked about this, and I talked about it. They were surprised I could actually see them. So I was actually cussing them out because I thought they were as solid as they were, that I had intruders in my house. So anyway, they came back the night before last, and all these spirits were like coming at me, like not in a mean way. It was like, oh, wow, she can see us. She can hear us. And this is like during the night. And I'm like, go away, get out. I'm trying to sleep. I don't want to hear you. And a lot of them show up, and we've talked about this too, where they show up ahead of time when you're going to read for people, because they know that you're going to meet them and they want to know. They want a message go through.
Right.
So I had a really rough night, and they didn't come down till a little bit after 4 a.m. in the morning. So I slept until 6:30 in the morning when Mulan decided she wanted breakfast early, because the sun's up now, and it's like I can't wait for the days to get shorter so I can sleep normal times. So I said, you know what, I got a smudge. And I thought, you know what, I'm wondering if these stones and crystals, right, have been sucking in all these energies from all this stuff, and it's amped up. This is why I took all my crystals down and bathed them, and they're being recharged. So I smudged. I had smudge bowl in one hand and holy water thrown in the other hand.
Do you have 4 quartz points?
Yeah, I've got
that are all similar in length?
Yes.
They're showing me for you to put one in each corner of your bedroom with the point facing out.
Okay.
I don't know what that's for, but that's what they're showing me for you.
The energy goes out, so it's channeled out instead of in. And I smudge, like I said, smudge in one hand, holy water in the other. And holy water is something I have, but I don't feel the need to use it a whole lot. And it wasn't evil feeling. It was just overwhelming energy. So I told Holly, I started at one end of the house, opened the doors and windows that I wanted to push stuff through, went around clockwise. As I went through the front room and into the kitchen, I kept hearing bang, bang on the inside walls. stuff in the kitchen was getting banged. And I'm like looking like, what the heck is in the house? So I just went through the whole house. When I got to this room, the loudest bangs, the birds got really super quiet, like really super quiet. And that's what I did. I went corner to corner, pushed it out to the hall, pushed it out the door. And as I did, the cage, Phoenix's cage, was banging, and he's in it, and he's like, whoa, what's going on, you know? And the walls were literally banging. Now, nice and calm, nice and quiet. So that's another thing. When you're putting the grids in, you're making this energy come in there. And if you don't clear it out and you do what we do, or you do what you do, sometimes it stays in, and you have to disperse it. You have to disperse it. Do you have them set up in a special way in the house? I know the grandkids are there, but do you have like stuff?
I do move them around from time to time, and it's just according to what they're telling you to do. Like I just replaced all those crystals in my office, but they all asked to be pretty much in a different place. So I switched them about just now.
Okay. How often do you cleanse yours?
As the ones in the attic haven't been cleansed in a little bit, because those are ones that I want to keep safe. No touchy.
I don't think I'd want to be going up in there if you haven't touched them for a while, though.
Well, but they're protected. I always pack them with sweetgrass and sage and stuff like that. So they're kind of like on permanent cleanse, really. So yeah, I make sure that I have all those in there whenever I pack them away. But they're up there for safekeeping at the moment until the grandkids are no longer living there permanently.
What is the stone or crystal or gem that is always your go-to? Like mine,
amethyst.
One of mine is, yours is
amethyst and quartz are my two go-tos. I have some different kinds of quartz. I have some of those anhydro quartz that have the little trapped water inside of. I really love those. I have a couple of really beautiful, really big points as well that are double terminated. I love those. But amethyst is my go-to, and I have a sunstone tower that sits next to the bed.
I want to say early mid 2000s, I went to, when I lived downstate still, or I'd go down there because my parents were down there and stuff. There was a shop in Michigan. It was over in Plymouth, Michigan. It's called Earth Lore. And I went in there, and they had a piece of quartz that had sunstone that grew inside of it. And I kept going back and looking at that, and I'm like, you don't need any more rocks in your head, you know, stop, you know. But it was like, take me home. And it stuck in my head. So I actually started looking for them online. I couldn't find any like it because it was so unusual. And of course, I went back the next month and it was gone.
Yeah.
So sunstone is really it's actually one that they used in Egypt quite a bit.
Yeah. What I'm wearing right now is ametrine. It's amethyst and citrine together.
Yeah.
If you can see that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I like that because it gives you that balance.
Yeah, it does.
So what does everybody else see here? They're all saying, hi, Doreen, how are you? Oh, look, ta-da, Ruth's here. Hi, Jillian. Here she says. Jillian says, stone circle near Keswick in the English Lake District. Castle Rig.
There's several different stone circles out there. And I can't wait to go back because me and Robert are going to visit all of them.
Take your camera.
Oh, I'm definitely taking the camera.
Okay, I don't know what. Yeah, it scared the crap out of you. I don't know what we did. I missed that.
Oh, the birds. The birds scared him.
Well, you know, everybody should know this. He's like a freaking toddler. Okay, he's only 6. He'll be 7 in September.
Thank you, Cindy.
And he's gotten so comfortable in the house now, he wants to go everywhere. So I was sitting in the front room and I heard somebody walking in the hallway. And believe it or not, they're a pound, so they're walking with their little clicks on the floor. I'm like, what the heck? So I come and here he is walking down the hallway looking at all the rooms to find out where I was, right? So I picked him up. I put him on top of the cage. I said, behave. And he tried to chew the wall. Now, he's never done that before. He's got so many blocks of wood, toys, and all that stuff. He never does that. I went into the laundry room for 10 minutes to flip laundry and fold. I came back, and he has a 2.5 foot long by 3 inches wide panel on my paneling, stripped and splintered to the floor. So he's in
no.
right now. He's
no.
Right now.
Okay. So I'm not changing the subject, but I am, because I keep picking up somebody in this room right now. Something about something burnt recently, something burnt. Who is that? Because they keep talking about something that burnt recently. Or got burnt. Maybe they got burnt.
Anybody put it in there? Yeah, Dragonstone. Put them. That's how I carry them when I go out. If I don't have good pockets on my pants, I just throw them down my sports bra.
That's exactly right. I used to have them in there almost every day.
It's easy to learn, Jeanette, about stones and crystals. Really, all it does is it takes to get a couple of them and just sit with them or carry them with you, and you'll feel that vibration from them. I don't know. Let's see. Anybody?
Annie says her last name is Burns.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it's showing me the end of something being burnt. So I don't know what that's got to do with it. It's not really showing me a whole lot else. No, not the Canadian fires. I don't think that's it.
What do y'all think of different seashells added with crystals or on their own?
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, it brings in that element of water.
It does.
Replenishing, cleansing, and it keeps them amplified. So yeah, well, that's why I use, and you've used too, the abalone shell. I have a grandmother shell. It's huge that was gifted to me. And that's what I use to smudge. So yeah, Jamie, that's awesome.
I use my custom smudge bowl somebody made me.
Oh, I don't know who did that. Not me.
Has a wolf and a raven on it.
Oh yeah, the wolf bird.
Maybe the burning of a long-time friendship. No.
I have lots of crystals. I love them. This is Cheryl. Yeah, she's a grandmother now. Oh, it's black tourmaline. Yeah, and rose quartz. Black tourmaline, I can't even say it right. Tourmaline is one of those stones that a lot of people, especially over in the UK, want to use for protection when they're doing work with spirit or paranormal stuff. And I find it interesting. And a lot of people I've spoke to that have had it have said, yeah, I use it for that. I've never used it for that. So that's kind of actually, if I hold it, it kind of repels a little bit. This is the only one that I've got. And this is tourmaline, and it's the moon phases. And I don't have a problem with that, but I think it's because the phases of the moon are on it.
Right.
So I don't know, but it's interesting that a lot of people use that for that.
Yeah.
Do you like it or no?
I do like it. I've never had a problem with any black stones. I have an Apache tear in my at my bedside table as well.
Yeah, those are pretty popular. And then let's see. Okay.
It may be for Sharon. You weren't imagining things. I think that may be a spirit bringing in that burnt smell for some reason, whether it's just a passerby, or you'll find out the reason soon enough.
Can I use around the house for protection for spirit? Yeah, if you set the intent for it, Jeanette, absolutely 100%. But you
put them over your doorways, on the framing of your door. Put a little crystal over each doorway.
I've got so many in the house; they're like everywhere. So yeah, I mean, doorways, windowways. Yeah, it's for protection. I mean, absolutely, you can use. Now, I don't know, Audrey. I'm not sure.
No, Audrey, I don't think that was it, because it showed me I can't tell what it is, but it was something, I want to say like the size of a hot dog. It's weird.
Oh, she's gone. She left. She'll be back. Uh-oh. She's like, uh-oh. It's her. Not me. Yep, she'll have to come back in, guys. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you the thing, Annie, about, oh, there, she come back? Did she come back? Nope, she did not come back. I don't know if she knows she didn't. Ruth, can you message her over on Facebook so she knows she's like disappeared and needs to go out and come back in? Holy water, and I laughed because I was born and raised Catholic, but I am spiritual. I don't go to church anymore. I haven't in years, because I don't think I need man to tell me how I should have a relationship with Creator. And I do. Everything I do, I work with Creator. And the priest that was up here a couple of years ago, I went in to refill my bottle of holy water. And they have it, and you take it out of the baptismal. And up here where I live in Michigan, the Catholic Church, it's a huge vessel that holds the water that's been blessed. And it kind of comes up like an aquarium would pump water through it. And I went in and I asked him, I said, he goes, oh yeah, please help yourself. Well, he was from Africa. And I loved sitting and talking to him. And he was just an amazing man. And he says, okay, here, I'll walk you into the church, because I was going to leave after that. And I had like a quart-sized bottle, and he goes, whoa, you're going to be doing some special stuff with all that. And I told him what I did and stuff, and he was like, oh yeah. So yeah, I always have, you never know what you're going to need. So I have everything in that arsenal. It's great. I love it. Oh yeah, no, wasn't an earthquake. I can guarantee. I wish it would have been something explainable, JB. It's just a lot. So, okay, so let me go down. Yeah, here you go. Okay, hang on. Let me see what she wants. Oh, okay. Okay, hang on, guys. That's weird. Oh, okay. So anyway, she's trying to get in. Yeah, they are bossy. And if you get to, you've been to Earth Lore? That's awesome. I love that place. They used to have 2 stores. They just have the one now. But they're really bossy. Holly just said, yeah, that particular spirit clearly wanted me to stop talking about it. Absolutely it did. Now it's not letting her back in. But anyway, so as I go on a little bit here, I wish, it was just so weird. And I deal with so much spirit, and the connections have gotten that much stronger now with people. We have, there she is coming back in. Hey,
Well. That spirit wanted me to shut the heck up.
Yeah, I guess. I'm telling you, they're bossy, but I think
I was kidnapped by aliens. Yeah, JB, that's funny.
He told me, he says, it must have been an earthquake that happened when my house shook a little bit. And it's like, I wish it would have been, but no, that wasn't what it was. We deal with so much, and as humans, and now, as we it kind of started like maybe the beginning of the year, maybe a little bit sooner, but it's like, and I hate calling it the veil, but the worlds between, like there's parallel universes, there's vortexes, black holes, all that. Black holes, they know exist. Vortexes, they know for science reasons that exist. And I think, there she goes again, we're getting to it's getting thin, so we're getting feedback from every side, from the spirit side, from the other universes, whatever. But I feel that there's been a great shift. And actually last month there was the titanic plates, titanic type plates in the earth shifted again, and the universe and the planets also kind of, I call it, they get agitated. So it's been a shift. So people are going to see more. They're going to admit they're seeing more or hearing more. And it's going to be a way that I think more and more people are going to be elevated spiritually. So yeah, that's an awesome thing. I don't know what she's doing, but we'll see. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, that's another thing. Oh yeah. Oh, he eats everything and he drinks water. Audrey, he's a little toddler. They have the phoenixes, like African grays, have the mentality of a 5 or 6 year old child. And this is proven. This is not something I'm talking about. He's got so many toys. He will eat anything as long as I'm eating it. He eats cereal, okay, not sugar, none of that. He likes milk, and I had to call the vet because I wasn't even sure if he could have milk, and I just have a little bit on my cereal. He'll eat that. He'll eat fruit that I eat, and only if I'm eating it. He won't touch it if I go just to put it in his bowl. He'll spit it out. So yeah, he's spoiled and he eats like crazy. Oh, okay, Sharon. Well, I will hang on to that note because if she can get back in, she will. I don't know who's messing with her right now. Yeah, we actually had a fire here 2 weeks ago, about 40 miles from me, that took out a big chunk of the forest, the Huron forest. So not only were we getting the Canadian smoke coming in, we were getting our own. And we actually have a air quality warning up right now. So yeah, it is for everybody. Oh, is Viner here today? Woo! Yeah. Ruth, okay, yeah, it could be, you never know, right? Hey, there's something else I want to talk about in a minute too. Okay, Doreen, I will, let me see here. I will let her know. I don't know what's going on with her. She's not even on Messenger right now, so we'll see if she can get back in. Friends at church having a cup of tea, and I kept smelling. Oh, that's interesting. So my question would be is, do you know somebody that's in spirit that would smoke? Oftentimes when I have clients that I work with, I get like either cigar smoke or pipe smoke or cigarette smoke, and there is a difference, and I'll be able to smell that. So that could very well be somebody that you know that's now in the spirit lands trying to connect with you. That's kind of cool. Okay, so she says, well, that's just how spirit has to shut me up. So, okay, she's working on it. She'll be back or maybe not. I don't know, guys. You can't have any black stones. They don't vibrate with you, right? Or what, Annie? Yeah, you use it to repel negative. And see, sometimes, and again, this is what I was saying in with Holly, is sometimes if you look up and you kind of study rocks, or, and I've been using them so long, I don't even look at them anymore to look them up because I just take what I feel from them. So they mean different things to different people. I will tell you, I'll show you this. This one's actually encased. This is actually one of the few, like, I'm going to show it to you. It's very, very tiny. This is a crystal from Poland. They're not very big, but wow, do they have a big punch. All right, get it out. It's so small. Okay, so, and this is a point. Okay, see how small that is? You see that? That's a piece of zincite from Poland. Zincite is used to amplify being able to use your sixth sense. It amplifies being able to read people or situations. It amplifies your abilities. I actually gave one to a good friend of mine a number of years back. I said, you got to try this. And this is way back. This is like in probably 2002. And she's a very good psychic. That's what she claims she is, a psychic. And so I gave her this and I said, remember, these really pack a powerful punch. So she took it home, and probably about a week later, she was calming. She goes, I says, what's the matter? And she says, I don't know. I just can't sleep. I'm really restless. I'm just so tired, but then I'm so energized. And I started laughing and I said, where did you put that piece of zincite? And she says, well, I put it in my pouch with my crystals, because she used to carry a pouch with her crystals and stones in it. And I said, okay. She puts it under her pillow at night. So that little bugger was in there, and it's crazy. So it doesn't matter how big or how small they are. You just have to use them as they relate to you. So, like I said, you don't have to even have them. You've never used them. And if you're interested, just get a couple. You can go to the beach. You can go to a river, but they all talk because they've been around forever. And they're picking up the earth's energy. They pick up humans' energy. They can pick up tragedy. They can do just like furniture and things that are in a house during a tragedy. They resonate and they pull that energy in. So that's why we tell you, and everybody will tell you, pretty much, you cleanse them and you get them ready, and then you recharge them and use what works for you. Obsidian is good. Obsidian is a great stone. And another one, this always interested me, because I didn't really even think about it till I started getting a few pieces. And this is a little bear that I got. Somebody gifted me this many years back, but it's made of jet. And I don't know if any of you have ever used jet, but it's really lightweight. It's like flyweight. It's so thin, and it's really easy to carve because it's soft. But that's another one that I use for protection. And also, that's another thing that a lot of people do sometimes. They'll get, like, I have bears. I have bears everywhere. Bears, because that's what I walk with, the grizzly bear and the polar bear. So this is a quartz bear that was carved for me. I have bears all over the place. I have bears from Alaska. I've got them from anywhere. People send them to me. I've got them in all through the house. And they're all different kinds of stones. And they all give me a different message. So let's see here. Who's in Michigan? I'm in Michigan, and there are warrants. Yeah. Our lake here, Lori, I look out from the front of my house, and I'm on Taos Lake, which is a small marsh lake. And if you look, it's not big at all. It's maybe a mile across, maybe, from my house to the other side where the farms are. And it's real hazy over there. So yeah, we've got the quality thing up here too. It's bad. It's sad too, because I know fire sometimes will help cleanse and new growth will come from it, but it's really tragic because everybody's got so much drought. All right. Thank you, Ruth. Oh, well, there you go. Gotta love that, right? Yep, gotta love that. Spirit will connect with you in many ways. I work with good. I work with Creator God. I work with the divine, and I always call them in. But every now and then you'll get a stinker that comes in, and they're just not really nice people. They weren't nice people in life, and they're not really nice people where they went. They didn't learn what they need to do. So sometimes they come in, they're angry, or how they passed, or anything like that. So yeah, you've got to be really careful. She's not going to come back, JB. She can't get back in. Yeah, he's something. I don't know about being pretty. He's something. He's being a bad boy. All right. Help with health. Yes. Sharon, they do help with health. Help with health. One of the stones that I've used for years when I had my studio in town, people would come in. I'd have women that came in and men that had some form of cancer, or they had heart issues, cardiac issues. And I started working with, and you can get them in stones, and this is not clear quartz. Let me see if I can get one that's a little greener. There's a green hue to them, and this is green amethyst. That one you can really see the green. And those are really good healing stones. And I would actually have people come back the following year and say, wow, they had gotten better not just because of the stone, but because they worked with the stone and had things done to them that actually worked. So yeah, they can be used for all kinds of healing. Now I'll show you. Here you go. These are very difficult to find, and these are green amethyst, but they're green amethyst points. I always have them charging. I send them out to people occasionally that need them or who I'm guided to give them to. So yeah, there are stones. Green amethyst is the one that I always use, but that's because that's my work. That's how they work with me as a healer, right? So I charge them up and then send them out. All right, let me see. Burnt toast. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of cool, Angela. Yeah, it's. I have a friend that I grew up with. We went to high school together, and it's kind of her dad. I mean, we were always close, and her dad passed shortly after we graduated. And anytime that I get with her, I don't care where we are. We can be outside at a restaurant, sitting in like an outside terrace, eating. I can smell his cigars. And sometimes I'll smell like bourbon because he used to have a shot of bourbon and smoke his cigars, right? I mean, I grew up with that. And that they'll always bring things through to kind of remind you that that's what's going on. Okay, hang on. She said it kicked her out again. All right, she's good to go. So we'll have to be on next week with her again. Let me just go down through here and see. Yeah, you have Jet. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's another thing. That's what we should talk about maybe next week. Yeah, medicine bags. What the medicine pouch and what the different ways they are. That'd be a good thing to talk about. I also, before I go, hi, Lori. Yeah. Oh, you're funny, JB. Okay, so. Okay, I'm just going through this really quick. Yep. Yeah, green amethyst is just amazing. And the points, like I said, are very hard to find. Very hard to find. My uncle has just passed. It could be him. It could be. You never know. Just be open to it. And if you're curious about it before you go to bed, ask them to send you a sign and give them a specific sign of what you want to come in for you. And a lot of times it may take a little bit, but they will answer you that way. I also wanted to, just before I leave today, and I'm sorry I waited, Holly's not going to be able to come back for whatever reason. She ticked some spirit off. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I found recently online of somebody I know, and I'm not going to put names out there, but I want you people all to be very careful with, if you go to people for readings, make sure you do your homework and make sure these people are legit. Because sometimes they're just not. And it's sad. And I was actually shocked by a few things I read the other day online. And this is not promoting me, okay? Because there's a lot of readers out there. Holly's a reader. I'm a reader. I know a handful. Lizzie Starr's a reader. Andrew D is a reader. Okay, but you have to be very careful. And I just want to make sure you know, because I saw this and I was like, holy crow, like, wow, just wow. And I know how they work. So please, everybody, if you do need a reading from somebody, make sure you do your homework about who they are and how they do stuff. And if you see that as a very clear thing, you'll see people that will do reviews for them, or you'll actually get to see them read sometimes. Everybody's reading everywhere right now. But watch them. But I want you all to remember, be really careful and really picky about who you choose to do reads for you. Okay? All right, guys. I love you all. Share and inbox me your address. Inbox me your address. Go over to Bear Medicine Walker, my business page. What is it, Ruth? Bear Medicine Walker. I don't even know. Hang on. And send me your address. Here, I'll give it to you. Thank you, Ruth. Okay, there you go. Send. I just put it up. That's the one. Sharon, send me your address in there, and I'll see if I can get a piece over there for you. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging in. And I know that Miss Thing, she just messed with spirit. She did something that she shouldn't have done. So whatever the reason, God bless. And I'll see you next Tuesday and Wednesday. And Holly will be hopefully made peace with spirit. So she'll be back next Wednesday. All right, guys, take care.